In any tech-related field, there comes a time where innovation kind of just plateaus, like the way we're seeing in the smartphone industry. And just like that, the gaming space is stuck there too. Back when we were younger, the gaming industry was young as well. It was continuously and rapidly growing, and during that time, the developers had a lot of room to grow. They had a lot of new ideas they could try, different gameplay loops, different stories, different setting, and almost anything new they tried genuinely felt like a whole new invention. That's the reason why most of the games felt like a huge upgrade over the previous ones. Better graphics, better gameplay, better lighting, better facial animations, basically almost every new game felt revolutionary. Just look at Assassin's Creed Black Flag for example. It was a huge upgrade and overall a much better game than AC3 in almost every way possible. Just look at GTA San Andreas, which felt like a true next-gen upgrade compared to GTA Vice City. But as is the nature of the creative tech medium, there comes a time where it feels like everything has been tried. And that saturation point is where we stand right now. I mean, just think of the wheel. When the wheel was invented for the first time, it was something out of this world. It was a technological marvel. But now when you see it, you don't even register it. Your brain just filters it out as an everyday object. And this same concept applies to games as well. Every other game has some variation of Ubisoft Towers, a long list of collectibles, and a lot of tropes that now feel cliché, like revenge quests or a broken man with a dark past. Though now that cliché is being replaced by girl boss cliché, but anyways, you get the point. At this point, all these tropes have been done to death. First-person shooters, third-person shooters, and Souls-likes have reached market saturation. Live service games like extraction shooters and battle royales have reached a point where people literally just roll their eyes when a company announces a new one. Every other game with hand-to-hand combat has pretty much the same hack-slash combat with dodge, block, and parry mechanics. And now since the tech has pretty much peaked in terms of visual and graphical fidelity, the newer games often end up looking similar to the older ones anyways. Just a few days ago, my friend who's more of a casual gamer lent me his copy of Ghost of Yotei. He loves that game and had been asking me to give it a shot too. I mean, you know how friends are. I played the game for 17 hours, and right after killing the Oni, the first bad guy, I was just kinda done. Even though I was enjoying the game from a gameplay standpoint, and even though the visuals are genuinely some of the prettiest I've ever seen in any game, I just grew tired of the whole revenge checklist. Now my friend has been kinda away from gaming for a couple of years, and this was his first big AAA game since he got back, and that's probably why he loved it. For me though, it's been 3 days and I haven't felt the urge to play it again. Not because it was a bad game, but simply because I've seen it before. I've seen the gameplay loop, I've seen the revenge plot 1,000 times, and it's not just that interesting to me anymore, and the lamer main protagonist doesn't really help. Will I play it again? Of course I will. I do want to finish it, it's a solid game, but I just don't feel the urgency for it like I used to before. And at that point I would normally shrug it off, like, yeah, I've grown old, games don't excite me like they used to, but that's not true. Because there still are games out there that just pull you in and don't let go, games that make you want to put hundreds of hours into them, games like Crimson Desert. That game is the reason why I genuinely believe we haven't outgrown this hobby. Because after years, I finally found a game that sparked the same fire in me like the one I had when I was a kid. I played this game religiously whenever I got the time. In fact, I actively wanted to make time for it. For the first time in years, this was the game that kept me up playing until 4 in the morning, even if I deeply regretted it the very next day while sitting on the edge of my bed staring at the most random object in the room, trying to summon the strength to get up. Now, is it a game that somehow reinvents the wheel? No, but it does things in a different way. From controls to the open world to the combat and the sheer freedom and sense of wonder it offers, it just felt like something new. But this video is not about Crimson Desert. The point I'm trying to make is that it was that game that made me feel that spark again. For you it might be some other game entirely. Maybe for you it was Baldur's Gate 3 or Expedition 33 or Palworld. Hell, it might even be a game that hasn't dropped yet. The Blood of Dawnwalker, for example, or Phantom Blade Zero look really damn promising. Most seem to be trying something new, something different, and every time I see any new footage, they just pique my interest even more. But at the same time, there's Marvel's Wolverine, a huge blockbuster name, a superhero I really like, and a game that I was genuinely looking forward to, but after looking at its gameplay, the game doesn't look impressive at all, and I was just left wanting more. Just yesterday, I saw a clip of this boss fight where Logan's fighting a giant-ass sentinel robot, and it just looks super generic and boring. Like, dude, I've seen this exact lazy-ass boss fight a gazillion times. A big dumb enemy slowly tries to hit you with one hand and then conveniently leaves its giant hand stuck into the ground for 5 business years so you can land some hits and chip away its health bar. It looks lazy and extremely stupid. Not to mention there's sweet baby ink involved, so of course Logan's gonna be cucked in his own game, and if that wasn't bad enough, the game also stars Deborah Wilson, because of course it does. To be honest, I feel if you strip out the mutants, it's just another generic Sony first-party template we've seen 1,000 times before. And anyone who has played Sony games before can probably already smell the lazy game design and bad writing from a mile away. And that's why for a lot of us, it just feels exhausting from the get-go. But of course, anyone who hasn't really played a PlayStation exclusive would probably enjoy it. I mean, it's just like if a caveman came to the future and played Assassin's Creed Shadows, his brain would probably blow right out of his ass because it's the very first game he's ever played. So the point is really simple. The problem isn't us growing up, it's not our age, it's not our responsibilities, it's actually just overexposure. But that's not all. Because it's being aggressively amplified by the fact that the gaming industry has actively stopped trying and have just been pumping out safe, sanitized slop after slop after slop. The thing is that back in the day, the game devs could afford to be a bit lazy, but now things have changed. A lot of new variables have come into play now. There's YouTube, there's gameplay footage all over the place, and YouTubers like myself make sure it's heard when a game has some problems or if a game is good or not. And in an increasingly competitive and saturated landscape, you really need to do something truly fresh and creative to stay relevant. But instead of that, the industry leaders completely misunderstood what makes this medium special in the first place and tried to Hollywoodize the gaming industry, taking themselves way too seriously, trying to turn games into movies, hiring well-known actors just to mocap them as a cue, cause why not? On top of that, these games take way longer to make now, so you're getting way less options anyway. Like, dude, just look at the slew of great games we were getting back in the 2010s. 2015 alone was stacked with banger after banger, like it was outrageous. Now it feels like a barren wasteland with only a handful of promising games which are very few and far between, and even they can end up disappointing. But let me know in the comments down below what are your thoughts. Do you think we've grown out of this hobby, or is it the industry crap that's a problem, or is it a combination of both? Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, please use the hype feature and share the video with your friends. YouTube has made some questionable changes to the algorithm, and at this point it's just testing my patience instead of testing my videos on newer audience. But anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.